This presentation is for Activity 4 of Unit 3. We will be looking at the origins and the spread of Islam. Before we begin, let's go ahead and set the stage a little bit. Do you remember studying about the Roman Empire from Unit 1? Well, for once, it really doesn't come into play for this unit, just a little bit. The Roman Empire split into two halves around 300 CE Common Era. The west half did not last very long after the split, but the eastern half did, and that eastern side became known as the Byzantine Empire. Eventually, the Byzantine Empire was overtaken by the Ottoman Empire. The people of the Byzantine Empire were predominantly Eastern Orthodox Christians, while the people of the Ottoman Empire were Muslims, believers of the religion of Islam. So this unit will be entirely about Islam. Its origins, its spread, its ideas, its controversies, and its contributions to our world today. So what is Islam? We'll actually be looking at the religion in the next unit, but in this lesson we'll learn about the origin of the religion. Where did it start, who started it, and how did it spread? So Muhammad began Islam when he received revelations from God. Now we're talking about the Muhammad pictured here on the left, not Muhammad Ali on the right. You'll notice that Muhammad is shown with his face covered with a white veil. His face is not shown. This is because some Muslims believe that human images should not be created, that only God has the power and the right to do so. We'll then look at how Islam was able to spread so rapidly within the first 100 years of its creation. Now, just a quick warning, there's going to be a timeline that you're going to see and it looks a little crazy, but I just want you to focus on the green circle, which shows you the time period we'll be looking at for this lesson. So quick overview of this timeline, you can see these arrows on the top and bottom that shows you the passage of time beginning from 300 CE Common Era to the 1900s. Just want you to focus on this time period right here for this lesson. Even though I've also included information about units 1 and 2, just to show you how it fits in within unit 3. And you'll see that most of its overlap, the Muslims overlap is going to be with the Byzantine Empire, as well as these various kingdoms under the Roman Holy Empire. So in this lesson, we'll be looking at 622 to 750. Basically, when Islam was created under Muhammad, how the Islamic civilization expanded under him and under the 4 caliphs or rulers that followed Muhammad, and to the Umayyad dynasty. This map shows you the spread of Islam from 620 to 750 CE. You'll see that the red area was territory that was added by Muhammad, then this orange area by the 4 caliphs, and then this green area expanded under the Umayyad caliphs. And this kind of dark blue area are areas of non-Islamic kingdoms, with the western half under Roman Catholic Christianity and the eastern half under the Eastern Orthodox Christianity. And you see this is where Byzantine Empire is. So how was Islam able to spread so rapidly and across so vast an area? The answer has to do with geography. Now we learned geography earlier, that it is how people interacted with the land around them. So let's take a look at the location of where Islam began and spread. On the map, you'll see the yellow circle that outlines the Arabian Peninsula, which basically connected 3 continents: Africa, Asia, and Europe. Trade routes passed through the peninsula, and as such, traders were able to carry and pass along ideas, knowledge, beliefs, and goods. Islam was able to spread by traders traveling along these trade routes. Second, because of the dry conditions in the Arabian Peninsula, it was difficult for people to grow food and settle down in one place. You can see on this physical map here that the peninsula is mostly yellow and brown, which signifies that not much is growing there, as opposed to the green luscious vegetation you see in these areas of our world. So people in the Arabian Peninsula must always move from place to place in search for food and water. This led to some people becoming merchants and traders, and what we note from trade is that these merchants helped spread Islam wherever they traveled to for their businesses. Another reason how Islam was able to spread so rapidly across so vast an area was due to the Muslims' successful military conquests. You can see that Islam originated from the city of Medina, and it was able to spread out west, to the north, and to the east. This map also shows you the speed in which Islam was able to expand and the extent of the territory that they were able to expand to. So this area right here expanded within the first 10 years under Muhammad, and then within the next 29 years expanded this much under the first 4 caliphs, and then under the Umayyad caliphs. They were able to venture into Europe. So why were they able to successfully conquer these territories? First, the area they expanded to was already weakened. The dark blue circle is where the Byzantine Empire and Persia had already been fighting each other for 200 years. They were obviously weakened from years of war and unable to defend themselves as well from the Muslims. The Byzantine and Persian soldiers were also either slaves or they were paid to fight. This means they were not as loyal as the Muslim soldiers were to their leaders, because the Muslims soldiers were united under Islam. They also had that nomadic background where they were used to having to travel long distances in the desert, and they also had a strategic fighting style. Their armies were able to move a lot faster than their enemies. This was helpful when they had to move their army to a closer water source, or when they had to launch offensive attacks or defensive moves. Lastly, Islam was able to spread so rapidly across so vast an area because of their religion itself. It helped unite their soldiers, and their religion was relatively tolerant to non-Muslims, as well as appealing to those non-Muslims as well. So as mentioned before, the soldiers were bound by a common set of beliefs, which made them stronger and more united and more loyal. Soldiers prayed and fought for the same purpose. The religion was also relatively tolerant of others who practiced Judaism and Christianity. Peoples in conquered territories were not forced to convert to Islam. Rather, they were allowed, to an extent, to keep practicing their own religion as long as they paid a religious tax to the government. So some people actually converted to Islam because they didn't want to pay the money. Islam also taught that everyone was equal under God, which was really appealing to people who were poor and underprivileged. And so many people converted to Islam because of that appeal. So because of geographical advantages, successful military conquests, and accessible religion, Islam was able to spread so rapidly across so vast an area within the first 100 years of its creation.